The Swiss family Robinson is the fictitious tale of a shipwrecked family's incredible fight to survive on a desert island. Now the Blanchs family from Brighton are about to live the experience for real. On the face of it, they may not be the best equipped for an extreme back-to-basics existence.
When Amanda and I met, the first thing she said to me was, "I'm a control freak and I only drink champagne."
Back home, it's life in the fast lane, running a boutique hotel, a private members club, and keeping up appearances.
It's important to look the part because I think the customers like it.
But it all comes at a price. They're massively overstretched, and the family have drifted apart.
We don't know what our kids are up to, and they don't know what we're up to.
And with the onset of the credit crunch, the glory days are over.
Waking up with £1 million debt, it's your biggest nightmare.
So they're doing something radical. They're leaving their businesses and life's luxuries behind.
A laptop, 2 iPods, sound system.
To spend 3 weeks in one of the most remote corners of the planet.
I'd love a glass of wine right now.
In the hope that the experience will provide some answers to their business problems and bring the family closer together.
Tucking India in was actually really quite lovely.
But will the pressure of having to fight just to get basics like food...
Oh, that's so wrong.
I can't eat it.
and shelter...
Can you move a couple of these things out the way with your hands?
There's not a lot of nuptials going on, shall we say.
drive them even further apart?
Pisses me off.
Basking in the Indian Ocean, 35 miles off the coast of Tanzania, is a small African island paradise called Pemba. Here, life revolves around family. The surrounding seas are bountiful and the heat is intense, with temperatures nudging 40 degrees. It's a 4,500-mile journey from Britain to Pemba. On its most southeasterly tip is a small peninsula called Kiweni. One of East Africa's longest stretches of white sandy beach, it's cut off from the rest of civilization by miles of dense mangrove swamp. For the next 3 weeks, this will be home to the Blanchs family from Brighton.
I'm just blown away by it. It's just so beautiful.
Mum Amanda, stepdad Chris, and kids 18-year-old Jake and 16-year-old India will try their hand at building a shelter and foraging for food in a world with none of the creature comforts they're used to.
This really is quite an entrance to your adventure, isn't it? It's about as rustic as it gets.
Waiting to meet them is local guide Youssef. He's grown up on these islands and can teach them all the skills they'll need.
I'm Amanda.
Yusuf.
Yusuf. Nice to meet you.
Because of the low tide, the family have to enter via the mangrove swamps.
No, the other shoe's just come off.
I'm a little confused because I was expecting a kind of island with a beach and palm trees.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't know what's over the horizon.
You're coming with the baobab trees and mango.
Excellent.
Oh my goodness me, that's incredible. Wow. Oh my God. Oh, I feel quite tearful. It's really beautiful. Wow, this is going to be our home.
I'm going in the sea.
Are you going in the sea?
Yeah.
Oh, it's very, very shallow. You're too wearing your...
Very shallow.
This is nice. I like this. I can get used to it. When we first landed, I was thinking, what? This is not an island. What's going on?
Well, I couldn't see a beach and it was all very muddy and I was thinking, that's not very paradise. Suddenly, but this definitely makes...
This is paradise,
up more
definitely.
Kiweni is a world away from their life back in Brighton, where Amanda and Chris own a boutique hotel and a swanky members club.
Who's having the vegetarian starter?
Every waking moment is devoted to keeping the empire ticking over and the money rolling in.
We go to bed talking about work, we wake up in the morning and we talk about work, and we continue doing that every day and every night.
I don't think I have a work-life balance. I just work. And that's my life. I suppose that's the balance.
For years, they've lived a champagne lifestyle, complete with designer clothes, spacious home, and all the spoils of success. But in the last 12 months, the couple have had the rug pulled out from under their feet.
So we just really need to try and rustle up as much trade as possible at the moment, because things aren't brilliant. Bloody credit crisis.
Looming over them is a huge bank loan which they're struggling to repay.
It is frightening. You know, we could end up with nothing.
With the businesses in crisis, Chris and Amanda are beginning to question the choices they've made in life.
I think it's particularly hard for women who have kids to do a career and have kids and keep it running, and something has to suffer.
Shall I sift the flour into a bowl?
With so many hours spent at work, time with Jake and India is scarce.
I'd say that my friends are my surrogate family. When my parents aren't there, I can come around here. Those are the downsides, because obviously I'd like to see my mum and my dad more.
Not really spending much time with them, because obviously they're working loads and I was working a bit, and it's like, kept missing each other all the time.
Realising something's got to give, Amanda has signed them all up for the ultimate family experiment.
Just to have quality time with my kids and my husband, and to really see if we bond and get something out of it. That's the ultimate and main reason for doing it.
But when it comes to the crunch, will the reality of spending 3 whole weeks together be quite the bonding experience they hope for?
I'm terrified of spending 3 weeks totally in the company, because it's going to be so different from how it is now.
It's going to be a very life-changing experience for all of us. Either that or we're going to fall out and everything's going to go horribly wrong.
For the first 3 days of their time in Kiweni, the family must survive alone, building their own camp and finding food from the wild.
Oh my God, this is paradise.
Luckily for them, Pemba is brimming with tropical fruit and fresh fish, if you know where to look.
Because they are from Europe and they come here in Africa, so how to get food, how to get water, this is problem.
To get them started, island guide Yusuf is equipping them with a crate of basic supplies.
Thank you, guys. This is your home for 3 weeks. Everything you need is in here. Okay. So thank you.
Yusuf will be back in 3 days to check on their progress. But for now, the Blanchs are on their own.
OK, let's have a look what we've got. We've got rice. There's plenty of rope and twine as well, which is... Oh, and there's a tarpaulin.
Their kit contains cereal, tinned food and fruit for the next 72 hours, cooking utensils, gas lamps, matches, and a grill for the fire.
So what we should probably do is
get these in the shade.
Get these off the beach.
You can help me with spades and axes, babe.
They also have sleeping bags, mosquito nets, a few building blocks, and some basic tools. This is the only equipment they'll have for the entire 3 weeks.
Here we go. You OK? Excellent. I think what we should do is now find where we're going to set up.
Well, we've got to decide exactly a location.
A location. I think
for
that's
our campage.
First.
Well, let's see how we get on today.
Yeah, let's see.
And if we get on sufficiently well, then we can maybe go try and catch some fish or something later.
As well as make full bed, shelter, dig a toilet, all in one day, yeah? Excellent.
Well, no, maybe not. I'm just saying, let's just see how it goes.
In Pemba, families live and sleep together in single-room shelters. But rather than doing things the local way, the Blanchs decide to build 3 separate beds 30 feet apart.
It's amazing, but getting your head around everything's really difficult because we don't have a clue what we're doing.
India, that's genius.
Despite being a stranger to DIY, Chris appoints himself chief carpenter.
What we're trying to do is to make a frame, yeah?
Yeah. How far off the ground do you
So in
reckon?
order to make... It doesn't have to be that far off the ground, but we've got to dig...
Like that?
Yeah. Oops. This is clearly why I'm a bartender, not a tree hacker.
I've never seen you do anything quite as practical as that. That's quite frightening. You knew what to do with an axe. Amazing. OK.
Let's just get the other side on.
Yep.
They're tying thick branches together to make a base and laying smaller branches loosely across them as makeshift slats.
The wood bits all go here, like that, one there.
A pocket-sprung mattress, this is not.
Yeah, there you go. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. Does mean you have to stay bolt still all night.
I'd love a glass of wine right now.
Yeah, well...
A glass of, yeah.
Oh, gin and tonic.
The first shaky construction is given to Jake.
I doubt it, but
Because the actual frame itself doesn't take...
But having struggled to build the first bed,
But let's do
ours.
one at a time,
Yeah.
eh?
they realise their plan to build 2 more and shelter before nightfall was overambitious.
I don't think we need worry about India's A-frame right now, babe.
We might get India's done, you know?
I doubt it.
Back at home, Chris's hobbies are of a less practical nature. In his world, image is everything.
I'm probably just as bad as your average girl. Spend hours in shops. Having your own business and it being a fairly high-profile business, you go to a lot of launch parties, events, etc., etc.
Running 2 businesses and maintaining a social network leaves little room for more traditional male tasks, like home improvement.
My wife's opinion of my ability to do anything DIY is not particularly high.
Chris, I think, might surprise me. He might come up with some really fantastic ideas and things which will be great.
Back on Kiweni, it's already 5 p.m. With 3 makeshift beds complete, Chris is assigned his next task.
I think we need to go and dig a loo,
OK,
because I'm busting.
let's go dig a loo.
Let's go. I want a toilet with a view.
The loo is shaping up, but with evening drawing in, the next priority is to get a fire going.
I have no idea what I'm doing now.
So
But you
can
want quite a
balance,
nice size one, but yeah.
so you can balance the pot on the stones.
How about dry bread tonight and some cold veg?
Nice.
The Blanchs scrabble together some stone slabs to make a rudimentary stove.
Doesn't the fire need air underneath it?
Let's try it like this, and if it doesn't work, then we'll make some holes.
Okay, thank you. This will...
I can't see a thing. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, well, you do know how to do it.
I'm guessing.
You haven't eaten since 24 hours, have you?
The fire is lit and they do all have beds, but they haven't managed to build a shelter, leaving them exposed to the elements.
I mean, the bottom. This is ridiculous. Where's...
Is here.
Just put it over your head for the night. That's fine.
Here. The sun went down too fast, so he didn't have enough time to build everything. You see, my bed was made in about the rushest time.
Even so, Amanda's proud of the way everyone has pulled together.
One of the reasons why I wanted to do this was to actually spend time as a family. I'm really impressed with what we've done, but slightly concerned because it's taken all day to get this far. And none of us have got any shelter, but I don't think it's going to rain tonight. So hopefully it's not going to rain, otherwise we're screwed, really. Yeah. Cheers. Bon appetit.
As they tuck into a large helping of rice and tinned stew, thoughts turn to bedtime.
A bit scared of the whole bed situation. I'm far away from everyone.
It's only actually about, 10
I'm
metres?
scared either one, I'll fall out, and 2 of all the noises.
The only noise in the whole place is our squeaky.
A bit just scaring me, but...
It's only 8 p.m, but the Blanchs, who often stay up working till 4 in the morning, are ready to hit the hay. Or in this case, the branches.
OK, we won't do it like that. Right, kids.
Over the next few days, finding food will be a tough mission.
I have no idea. I've never done anything like this.
Cooking it will be challenging,
Taste it and see what it tastes like.
as will pulling together as a family.
Can you move a couple of these things out of the way with your hands?
It's day 2, and hotel owners Chris and Amanda wake early after a rough night on rough beds.
We've got to do something different to the bed, definitely, like rearrange it a bit better, or put more padding on it.
Last night's scrabble to get camp ready has brought home to the family just how tough the next 3 weeks could be.
We were tired. We hadn't finished anything. And suddenly it was dark. It was just like, got to make a fire. Where's the wood? Oh, God, we haven't collected enough wood. It was just, it got to that point of kind of panic.
In the cold light of day, Chris decides the camp needs weatherproofing.
Although it may not rain, it's looking like it might. And so I think we need to have some kind of shelter. Just in case it does, and then we won't get all our stuff stoked and then regret it when we didn't make the shelter.
Obviously, we'll have to think about maybe even bringing India's bed further into the camp and making something across India and Jake's bed, because we've only got one tarpaulin and it's not that big.
So obviously I'm going to need somebody to hold the poles at the front. That's feasible.
This one?
That doesn't seem quite so stable anymore, does it?
After fixing the beds, Chris begins to build the shelter. But with his limited skills, the best he can muster is a plastic sheet stretched over a few bits of wood. Next, the family turn to priority number 2, food.
I think, Jake, you should go foraging, because your main focus in your entire brain is 100% food right now.
What am I getting?
You're looking for pineapples, bananas, mangoes, oranges. What, you girls, what do you want to do? Jake's going to do food, I'm going to stay.
I think then Mum should go and do food with him. I think we need a strong person and then a not so strong person to do.
Well, why don't the two girls go off?
You go with Jake.
You and Jake go and forage.
Jake, go.
Because I'd like to get all this camp sorted out as well.
Sensible theory is that the kids go foraging for fruit right now, and we sort the camp out.
And if the worst comes to the worst, we've got more luncheon meat.
Exactly.
Good luck, bring us some fantastic food back.
I'll try my hardest.
Back in the UK, Jake and India rarely do anything together.
We don't get on too well. She's 16 and I'm 18, so it's kind of, she's prime time annoying.
We've got totally separate lives. It's always just been, oh, that Jake lives down the hall. He plays really horrible house music at 8:30 in the morning.
Both think the other will struggle on the island without their creature comforts.
I think the person who's going to find it hardest, possibly Jake. It's going to be really difficult for him not having the mirror or the blow dryer or the straighteners.
India, she's 16, she's just getting a load of phones, she's got Facebook. Every day she's up there on her computer, and it's going to be weird for her.
But the kids will have to put their differences behind them if they're going to find food for the family.
Let's have a look at everything around us.
It's all just green. The searching for food is going dreadfully. I've never done any kind of picking, growing things ever, so this is a bit of a first.
After a couple of hours, it appears Jake and India are in luck.
What's that?
I don't know.
That looks like it's been chopped down already.
Yeah, but it looks like it's been also dug up.
What they don't realise is they've stumbled across a patch of cassava plants, a staple vegetable in Africa used in soups and stews.
Can't dig it, it's too tough.
Pull it and see what happens.
Unfortunately, cassava is a root vegetable, and Jake and India are picking the leaves, which contain traces of cyanide.
Guess we could probably eat this.
As night falls, the family decide to give the semi-poisonous leaves a go. Fortunately, when boiled, the cyanide breaks down, making the leaves edible.
Stick some on that plate.
Taste it and see what it tastes.
However, there's nothing you can do about the taste.
Not so good then, huh?
Disheartened, the family resort to another meal of rice, tinned meat and stale bread.
The only worry I have is that we have rice, but we've not got that many tins, so we've got to start finding food.
Supplies are running low, and they still have another 24 hours before island guide Yusuf returns. Overnight, the family had their first experience of tropical rain.
We had a bit of a problem with the canopies. When it started raining last night, we were very aware that any amount of rain was just going to sit in the middle. and could pull the whole structure down. So we realised that was probably not good. We're all tweaking the camp, making sure we've got plenty of firewood. Can you move a couple of things out the way with your hands?
India, who's used to sitting in her room chatting on Facebook, doesn't appear to be pulling her weight.
It's difficult watching her sitting there read, I must admit.
Mum thinks I'm slacking off, but I'm not. I was sweeping around and doing things. So it's just I can't really do that much. And I was asking Chris, what should I do? And he said, I don't know. And I was like, OK.
India was a bit kind of like, I don't know, couldn't be bothered that much. But then that's just a younger sister for you. I think everyone with a younger sister has got those troubles.
But India's work-shy attitude isn't the only thing that's eating Jake.
The lack of food is major. I eat loads at home. And out here, I mean, just for breakfast, I had a quarter of a half of watermelon.
I think the frustration is because we don't know what we're doing. And, you know, you're so used to knowing what you're doing at home and your job and as a family and things like that. It just comes second nature.
Right, Jakey.
In a bid to satisfy his son's hunger, Chris takes Jake back inland looking for food.
I'll tell you what we must remember to do, Jake.
What's that?
So remember to look up, because we're kind of looking, fishing around the floor, aren't we?
Yeah.
There's a big great hole there.
You all right, Chris?
Yeah.
Cut yourself, or...?
Probably. That's a good lesson as well, isn't it? Forget what I said earlier. Don't look up. Is that a tomato?
These plants here, yeah, they look like tomatoes.
It's tomatoes. They are tomatoes.
Are they?
Wicked. We'll have some of them then. That's got to be worth.
But tomatoes and sweet corn won't keep a family of 4 fed for long.
There's 5, there's 5, there's 5.
There's 6 here.
OK, well then you have the 6. You're the lucky one. I'll get the extra bit of sweet corn. Come on, let's get cracking because it's hot.
Determined to find something more substantial to eat, Amanda takes charge and leads the troops out for a spot of fishing. They don't know it yet, but the shallows around Pemba are teeming with shellfish and octopus.
See, I think there's something in these holes. Maybe some type of clam or... Oh, I don't know. What you need to do is find a way of drawing them out of the hole, if that's what they are. I have no idea. I've never done anything like this. Any ideas, guys? Jake, you must have some ideas, don't you? Come on. OK, let's head towards the sea.
Back at home, they regularly serve up seafood in their restaurant, but sourcing it here is a different kettle of fish.
I thought it was something, but it's just an empty crab shell. The crab's been eaten. I wouldn't exactly feed a family of 4, would it? We are like a fish out of water. I know, sitting around us now, there is food. I just don't know how to get it. We need some help. Quite happy to admit failure on this one, totally. It's just not going well.
Back in Brighton, Amanda is used to getting what she wants.
When Amanda and I met, the first thing she said to me was, I'm 30 years old, I've got 2 kids, and I'm a control freak, and I only drink champagne.
Like her husband, image is all important, especially shoes. She has 250 pairs.
A couple of years ago when it was going really well, if I wanted to buy a pair of shoes, I would go and buy a pair of shoes, and it would cheer me up.
Amanda's life revolves around her work, and cooking family meals has taken a back seat.
When you've got a restaurant and with such great chefs as ours, there's no point in doing anything really kind of fine dining, because I could never compete.
Amanda's keen to rediscover her culinary skills, but with the family failing to find anything edible in the Indian Ocean, it's looking like a non-starter.
That was a trek.
Yeah, just a bit.
Trek for nothing.
I'm pretty desperate for Youssef because we know nothing and he knows everything. And so if he could teach us how to fish, what type of plants would be good, anything like that would be nice. Because I'm starving again. I want food.
It's day 4, and the family's 3 days of trying to survive alone are up. So far, they've barely found any edible food on the island, but Chris has managed to build a camp of sorts. Today, island guide Yusuf is back to pass on the knowledge they'll need to survive.
Hey, Yusuf.
Oh, how are you?
Okay, you?
Uh-huh.
Beginning with building skills.
This is not good arrangement.
In Pemba, it's seen as an essential skill for the man of the house to build his family a proper roof over their heads.
You should to build your own house. Yeah, should to build your own house. Yeah, so when you see...
Unimpressed, Yusuf wants the family to build a proper shelter, but Chris finds himself relegated to the menial task of hole digging.
Okay. Hold this at the back and here. Maybe you can try there.
Meanwhile, Jake is appointed chief builder.
So today, I will help you to make a good house.
Feeling sidelined, Chris's ego is clearly bruised.
Yusuf kind of almost dismissed me and just talked to Jake as if Jake was the father. And at that point, I was seething. But Amanda calmed me down. She said, come on. Got to work with this guy for another 2 and a bit weeks. And that's the way they do it here.
Keep digging then in.
The hardest part was digging in the holes because when you dug down, all the roots stuck out and cut you on the arms. And as well, you're in the sun and you're hungry and your head's down the hole, so you get really dizzy. So I did it.
The basic framework of the shelter is made by planting tall cashew nut tree posts deep into the ground.
It's just amazing how, from us just putting the holes in the ground, how quickly it then suddenly comes together. It's looking great. It's like a proper constructed house.
More branches are added to make the joists, creating a basic house shape. The family then set about making the roof and walls, which are made by weaving together the leaves of coconut palms.
For the first 1, 2, 3. So I start the third one. Yeah. And the same procedure.
Then there are a staggering 120 panels of coconut palm to be woven as cover for the shelter.
You just don't realise just how these guys out here really have to live, and this is day in, day out. It's really hard work.
As Amanda and Chris get to grips with the weaving, they reflect on their business problems back home.
If it goes down the pan, it's going to be devastating because we've worked so hard.
We have a very comfortable life in many ways, but we also have £1 million worth of debt. And we have stress and worry, and we work 78 hours a week trying to keep our business going under current economic climate, and it's very difficult.
As the roof goes on, the new family home is complete. An all singing, all dancing, proper African shelter.
Can I start moving in?
You can start moving stuff in, yeah.
I'm excited about sleeping in a house. It'll be really nice rather than the tarpaulin over rickety beds, so I feel like moving into a palace.
The following morning, the family awake from their first night in their new one-room home.
It is quite difficult all being under one shelter. There's not a lot of nuptials going on, shall we say.
But being in such close proximity to the children does have some benefits.
I mean, tucking India in was actually really quite lovely. And in fact, last night she said, can you do it again? It was really quite sweet, even though she's 16.
Today, Yusuf will move on to the pressing issue of how to find food.
Yeah, thank you.
He begins by showing them the correct part of the cassava plant to eat.
Slowly, 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 don't... Yes.
Cassava is farmed extensively in tropical climates and can be turned into many things, from paper to petrol.
Just take it like that.
I'm not very good, eh?
Yeah, but it's good.
Okay.
Fantastic.
But on Kiweni, it's mostly used as a vegetable. The fibrous root is far tastier than the leaves and far less poisonous.
This is great. It's quite floury, so it is like a potato, like a Maris Piper or something, quite floury, but it's actually got a nicer flavour.
Next, Yusuf takes Jake and Chris out on a fishing trip.
So just we walk and then we look.
He's taken them to catch the Pemban favourite, octopus, And living right on the beach means the Blanch family should be able to enjoy it every day.
There you go.
You see? It's coming out.
Okay.
The octopus are lured out from under the rocks by gently prodding them with a stick.
Yeah.
So hold it with my hand, yeah?
Yeah. So slowly, okay?
Just grab a tentacle or?
Yeah, nearby.
Once they wrap their tentacles around the stick, they're pulled out of the water.
Here, and the head.
Here. Yes. Yes.
No, it's very slippery.
You should touch this area.
So hold,
Well, my
yeah.
fingers.
Yeah.
So just you touch
The
this.
locals kill octopus by turning their heads inside out.
You bend like this.
Yeah.
You see?
So it's inside.
So, okay.
Oh, so this is
It's actually touching it. First of all, it's just like, yeah. Once you realise it doesn't hurt, it's actually the frightening bit goes away.
I'm shit scared.
Yeah, catch here. Here, tightly here.
Right time,
tightly.
really low.
Tight.
For Jake, who's more at home with a pair of hair straighteners than a fishing spear, it's no easy task.
Right.
Oh, that's so wrong.
So turn this, yes.
Oh.
No, leave it.
Don't
Leave
worry-
it.
don't
Don't
worry
worry
about
about this.
tentacles, just get your fingers in
so
there.
put your fingers here and then turn up. Yes,
God, it's got a
turn.
tight squeeze.
Yes. Yeah.
Go on, just sit, boy.
Yes.
Go on, son. Go.
My heart is beating so fast. It's just something that you just do not feel ever.
After 3 hours, the men proudly return with the spoils of their hunt.
Oh my God. Wow. Thank God we didn't have to do that in India. I don't think we could have done that.
Now you are in African, so now you take this from your husband and then you are going to...
And I go and
This is
cook it.
Yeah, now this is an African traditional habits.
Right, I come and take that
Yes.
from my husband and
Yeah.
then go and kick.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Off I go.
Okay.
What the boys did today with the octopus, I couldn't have done that. And I thought the way he actually did hand me the stick was actually quite lovely. Whereas I think if I was in England, I'd be really pissed off because I would feel that they were putting me down in some way because I was a woman and I couldn't do that. Here it's much more like, well, they're having really good fun doing it and I'm going to struggle doing it. So for the sake of all of us, isn't it better that they do that and I do something else?
Disintegrating unless I take this off now.
Yusuf's not impressed with Amanda's culinary
And
skills.
this is how women get many problems. To cook is a big problem.
But undeterred, Amanda continues to cook the dish until long after sunset. When the octopus is finally ready, it goes down like a damp squib.
I'm getting true into, yeah.
It's going to it.
I can't eat it, personally, which is fine. I have to accept that. I'm upset because I was really looking forward to it and it hasn't worked. We put a massive effort into that today and it was such a satisfying day.
After last night's octopus cooking disaster, Yusuf has organised for a local woman, Raziki, to teach Amanda the Pemban way to prepare food. Raziki first tenderises the octopus before cooking and stewing it in a sauce of coconut, chilli and mango. Amanda observes from the sidelines.
All the years I've fought against going out to work and never being a housewife and never being stuck in the kitchen and all this. What's wrong with bringing up your family and making lovely meals? And I think sometimes we've forgotten that. I think we sometimes think it's going backwards. You're bringing up your family, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Whereas I always thought there was.
That's right nice, that is.
It's right now.
That's right nice.
Right, nice. It's pretty tender too.
The family have finally had a decent meal. Even Chris tucks in.
For them, no, but for me.
But Yusuf and Raziki are about to leave them, and this time the Blanches will be on their own for a whole week. And as things get tougher, they'll all need to do their bit.
Your brother's always had a really good work ethic, whereas you will avoid it like the plague.
Chris finds his groove.
It's not my style, but I like it.
And Amanda loses her patience.
I'm just a bit pissed off.
Over the next few days, the family adjust to life alone on Kiweni and begin to find their individual roles in camp.
I've become the typical motherly figure. I tend to do the cooking, the washing up, making sure camp's okay.
And while Chris works on his DIY skills around camp, Jake takes on the role of chief hunter-gatherer.
It's the first time I'm going out by myself, so I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully I'll find at least one thing or two. I want to go get one, come back and say I did it all by myself. At home, my role is kind of to sit down and eat the food and watch TV and just be there and work. And here it just seems to be getting quite a lot of the food. It's good. It makes you feel kind of more manly-like in a way, because I'm not that manly after all.
Amanda is seeing her 18-year-old son in a new light.
Jake surprised me in many ways. I didn't think he'd take on the role of jungle kind of so much, and clearly I'm going to have to buy him a machete for Christmas or something.
But while Jake is really finding his role, India is still struggling to find her feet.
You, India, if you were given, you wouldn't do absolutely anything, would you, ever? And it's much more important for you to learn that you have to earn your own than it is for your brother, because your brother's always had a really good work ethic. Whereas you will avoid it like the plague if at all possible, and if you can get something given on a plate, you'll have it, thank you very much.
Chris's words have given India something to think about.
I get on really, really well, and I can talk to him about anything, but he thinks that I push the blind too far sometimes, and he wants to stop me doing that. He wants me to make me into a well-rounded person.
The following morning, India takes the initiative and volunteers to join Jake on a foraging trip. So far, the family have existed on a diet consisting almost entirely of octopus, rice and cassava, and they're desperate for something different.
Hopefully get some today. This time we know what we're looking for.
Not very nice going out to find food in this heat because, we're not really used to it.
After a 20-minute trek through the bush, they stumble across something that looks familiar.
Is that an orange?
Yeah.
Green oranges are common in warmer climates, as it's the drop in temperature that turns the fruit its usual colour.
Smells nice.
It smells really nice.
After a bunch of plantains and a couple of limes, they finally spot something more exciting.
What the hell is that?
What?
Those big yellow things.
The big yellow things are jackfruit, which taste a bit like pineapple.
And on this occasion, I'm being a slight bit of a wimp, but for good cause.
He doesn't want to climb the tree because it's got bugs on it.
Gah. I think that's calling it a day.
Back at camp, Amanda and Chris are making the most of some quiet time.
We try and have a swim, we try and walk along the sand, we have a cuddle, we have a kiss, we hold hands. Whereas at home, you're always too busy, and you should never be too busy to have a hug.
Lying on a beach 4,500 miles away from home, it all seems like a lot of hard work for not much gain.
There's a lot of appeal to not having the responsibilities of your own business, yeah, for sure. I mean, it does take up a hell of a lot of your life, and I've been thinking in my head about downscaling, and it does make you realise how much more simple it is if you've only got to fend for yourself and your brethren.
Back at camp, Jake and India return with the spoils of their foraging mission.
And we got these bad boys. We've got 3 of these. I can't even get them out.
Wow. These are amazing. I've never seen anything like that.
While Mum and Jake prepare lunch by frying up a selection of the fruit, Chris's thoughts are still with the future of the businesses back at home.
I'd like to be without my nightclub by the end of this year at the very latest, so that I can concentrate on the hotel. And in a couple of years' time, I'd like to be without the hotel as well.
For the last 2 weeks, the Blanches have had no one to talk to but each other. Chris, who is used to the social whirl of his nightclub back at home, has started talking to the wildlife.
He's a bull. That's probably why he's running wild, so we probably should leave it at that. Don't really want to be charged by a bull at this stage of the morning. Yeah, I thought he was going to charge me. I think he's got lost. I think he's come untethered. Doesn't know where he is, and he's a bit thirsty, so now I have a cow friend. I feel good about watering him. You've got to make sure everybody has a drink. It's part of my trade.
Fortunately for Chris's sanity, this period of isolation is coming to an end. Yusuf is due back, and he's taken the family to a nearby village for a dip back into civilization. Shamiani is the one village on Kiweni. It's an hour inland where the land is more fertile for farming. Here, the Muslim population of 700 live self-sufficiently, using traditional methods to grow food and keep animals on the land. There's a school and one small shop, where locals spend what little money they earn trading fish with settlements in the main part of Pemba. After a 1-hour trek through the jungle, the Blanch family enter the village for the very first time and meet some of the locals.
We go Tanzania.
Teach him English.
Okay.
And teach you.
Teach you, okay.
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 Very good.
Very good.
Okay.
They're welcomed with the local equivalent of an aperitif, sugarcane.
Really sweet.
It's the most insane thing to eat from a plant.
We have sugar. Small as something.
So this is how it's from the field.
Yeah.
And this is
Here, the men, women, children and grandparents all work together with one common goal, keeping the community fed.
That's a mortar and pestle and a half, isn't it?
Yeah.
Amanda and India are invited to have a go at grinding millet.
No, wait, rhythm.
I go, then you go, then I go, then you go. And then you go.
1, 2. Slowly, slowly. That's better, you're getting a rhythm.
It's actually really quite hard work. It's okay if you're doing it in your kitchen at home, but in this heat as well, it's just incredible.
They all work infeasibly hard in order to earn any extras, like the privilege of actually sending their kids to school, which is something that we don't have to think about. If they have a bad season and they don't get enough rain, then they don't have enough to eat, then their kids can't go to school.
That afternoon, the Blanches are invited to one of the village elders for dinner. Here, children as young as 9 prepare and cook food every day.
Let the expert show you.
It's a wake-up call for India.
make it so. Don't touch your head.
India doesn't do much in the kitchen at home.
I can cook pasta and fine, I can live.
But I'm seeing that she's more than capable of doing any of this.
Okay. The food comes here at the center. We wash our hands and then we start to eat by hand.
Supper consists of rice and cassava with coconut and tomato sauce.
Oh, the sauce is beautiful.
Very nice.
The food's really good.
Great flavours.
Chris gets stuck in, but doesn't realise he's just broken one of the most basic local customs.
So, Chris, don't use left hand. For food, right hand.
It's a simple rule. Right hand for eating, left hand for less hygienic jobs.
I know it's a difficult for you.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yeah, but
He's left-handed.
yeah, left-handed.
Do the family always sit round together?
Yes, this is the time where the family meet together, sit,
I'm very interested in getting some more ingredients to actually try some of these on the camp, definitely.
After the meal, the whole village throws a party.
I loved having the music and dancing. It was happy noise, people enjoying music and dancing along, and it's something I haven't seen for about 2 weeks.
Starved of nightlife since they've been here, Chris simply can't hold back.
I'm tired now. Can't work for an old fella.
I loved it. I had a fantastic time there. The whole interaction with the kids was brilliant.
That evening, the family returned to camp.
In England, people are judged on their material wealth and how much money they have, what new gadget, whatever they have, rather than who they are.
When we went into the house and we all sat down and they slowly gave out the food, where it was everyone sits down all together, everyone's all together, and then you talked amongst each other, and then you share plates.
Do you know, I had the same feeling that the only time I've ever shared food like that is when we had a fondue or something. You're eating and you're discussing, and it's much more sociable to eat than rather than on separate plates.
I think we're going to go back with a really positive
Yeah, I think so.
head on.
The following morning, Yusuf returns to take Chris and Amanda on an expedition to the mangrove swamps. He wants them to meet one of the most important men on the island.
This is Mr. Omar, is my friend, the good expert for crab fishing.
Jamboma. Oh, we're looking forward to catching some fish because we've only had octopus so far.
Yeah. If you see a hole like this, so he put this stick inside. So if there is a crab inside, he check your.
He'll check the stick.
Yeah, your stick. Yeah.
Oh, if I just got one crab.
Crab are a difficult beast to catch, so much so that Mr. Omar is the only man on Kiweni in his profession. But Amanda's determined to bring home some bounty. After trudging through miles of muddy mangrove, it's all proving pretty tough for the woman with 250 pairs of shoes.
I'm trying to move! What's up?
Make that 249.
Oh, I don't want to get out now! Pisses me off.
As they get further in...
So this is the place where the crabs living.
The terrain gets more treacherous.
I'm just a bit pissed off because I want to get something.
Yes.
Oh, please, please be a crab, please. Oh no, it's a rock.
But just when it seems like the mangrove swamp has beaten them...
Oh my goodness me, that's a crab.
Mr. Omar comes up trumps.
Look at him.
Oh my God, he's
Hey,
huge.
big boy.
Wow.
The crab is bagged. And the couple return to camp to cook their prize.
Look what we got.
Oh, well, you got a crab.
That's
And
we
you got a
went
few
crab fishing. We got a few.
That's the big mother.
Look at the size of that.
Did you actually catch it?
Well, we had
with
assistance.
help.
Oh
With a lot
yeah,
of help.
there's
It
no
was-
way that we would be able to go back there and do that on our
No.
own. No way.
Oh, just don't really like doing it. Is it still moving?
No, it's dead.
Is it dead? Definitely. Yes. For 4 hours going out there in the mud flats, getting mosquito bites, treading all over jellyfish in the mangroves. I probably wouldn't be doing it very often. Put it that way.
down to the shop and get
Yeah, but it is going to make me understand when I do have crab that some poor blighter's having to do this to get it all out. Do you want to bring me a big plate, Chrissy? Woo! There we go.
Nice job.
That's it.
And though it's been one of the hardest won meals of their life, it's certainly a welcome change from octopus.
The flavour's
I
phenomenal.
think this has got more flavour.
More
than
flavour,
crab.
yeah. Of course it has, because it's fresh out.
Really good flavour.
The family's 3 weeks on the island are nearly over, but Yusuf and Riziki have one final job for them. They think the Blanches should thank the locals with a feast, and they'll need to look the part.
So it should be like Pemba people.
Okay, cool.
Traditional way.
Yeah.
I have no idea how you do it.
Tonight, 12 villagers are coming for dinner. It's a chance for the whole family to dress up and show the people of Kiweni what they're made of.
Yeah, she probably hasn't cooked for this many people. Did a couple of Christmases ago.
But with food on the island hard to come by, the whole family will have to pull together to make it happen.
We haven't got anything to eat, and we've got 12 people coming around for dinner. So, Jake, can you go octopusing? If we can at least get some octopus, we can do that really nice stock.
Cool. Simple.
No
Done.
pressure. It's all down to you, son.
Jake, their top hunter, is dispatched to the reef.
It's all up to me if I catch anything or not. Kind of puts a bit of pressure on, but I don't mind.
India helps Mum prepare the meal, octopus in tomato sauce.
As long as we keep it simple, and it's our last chance to actually sit and talk to the people that we've come to like here.
And Chris makes the 45-minute trek to the village to borrow some extra gear.
Jambo.
Jambo.
Some covers, so obviously the flies don't get on it.
Jake, now something of a pro, is back with his catch.
Oh my God, Jake! We love you!
I only got 2.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much.
And keen to do his bit, Yusuf's contributed a local treat, a few steaks of barracuda.
Excellent. Put that in the pot.
Now it's up to Amanda, who struggled with her cooking from the start, to pull off a major culinary feat.
This is going to be a nightmare.
Going to get frantic.
But it's quite a daunting task, cooking food for people in their backyard.
The guests finally arrive. Yusuf, Riziki, and 10 of the villagers.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, how are you?
I'm very well, Yusuf. How are you?
There you are.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Good, huh?
Wow, yeah, they're amazing. Do come through.
Yes.
This is our humble abode for the last 3 weeks.
Nice.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yusuf is responsible for the design side of it.
We have a sauce that is a mixture of Provençal France and African. It's a mix, so I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come and sit down, please.
Now for the moment of truth for Amanda's cooking.
Wow.
Please start.
So I can come with you.
It's
The only difference is the fish. Normally
yes,
here,
as if by
we
magic.
fry a fish till it's very brown. It's very, so this is it's not kind of frying.
Do you want it cooked a bit more? It's cooked English style.
No. This is English style, so it's good. So this is the only difference. Good sauce.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice sauce.
Thank you very much.
Delicious.
The sauce is dole.
After all the hard work, the Blanch's Pemban feast has been a triumph.
I'm really proud of my sauce. And I think we all worked really well as a team, actually. India was chopping, Jake was in the fire, Chris was helping me with cooking. Something that would never happen at home. It's been such a wonderful adventure, and we've really, really loved it. And we've met some wonderful people and learned so much. And we have no doubt that we will come back.
It's great to meet you.
The family's 3 weeks on the island is over. Tomorrow they must head back to Brighton.
What's the course?
You start on the straight and you go for the far one. Yeah?
I'm quite surprised that we coped so well.
Excellent shot.
Oh my
Jakey
God!
boy.
I'm very impressed with Jake. He's a very, very capable young man.
I'm not very practical at home at all. But I think I've proven to me that I've done better than I thought.
We'd have won then with 3. India's pushed herself a little bit, which has been nice. It's nice to see, and I hope she learns quite a bit from this.
Who invented this game anyway?
The British.
Of course.
The British do the silliest things.
They do, don't they?
They invent hats like this. It has made me more kind of aware of how people live. Like, not everyone is as fortunate as me.
The biggest thing I've learned about the family is that we are actually a really close unit. I'm very happy about that.
I think I've had time to think and reflect over a lot of things. I think we put too much into personal belongings and having lots of things around us.
The thing that we've learned is that we can actually cope with virtually nothing.
We're going to really make sure that no matter how much work we have to put in when we go back to try and sort everything out, that we're going to have some time off. I'm going to be making much more of a balance on work and pleasure time and time out with the kids. That's got to be the most important thing.
Three weeks later, the Blanchs are back in Brighton, and life will never be the same again.
I think we've all gone through an amazing experience together. I sometimes have to pinch myself that we even did it, because you come back to reality and it's just crazy.
It's very humbling going to see how people like that live. It does make you realise how lucky you are.
After their time on the island, the couple have made a massive decision that they hope will solve their problems with debt. They've chosen to sell their nightclub and move out of their family home.
We've managed to rent the house out. We're renting it out as holiday lets, so it's not all the time, but the time it is rented out will help pay the mortgage and the rates and bills.
Should we just take one box at a time and then come back for the plastic bag, or the plastic bag and come back for that?
The family are moving to a tiny 2-bed apartment underneath their hotel, so they're going to have to make some big sacrifices.
I don't think I'll ever be the person who could just live out of one bag. I'll always have a few pairs of shoes tucked away somewhere, but I'd really like to cut it right down, and I think it's time just to let some stuff go.
I have culled my wardrobe. I've got rid of all of that stuff that might come back in one day.
I saw the people on the island, like the villagers who have absolutely nothing, yet are way happier than we are. And I think they realised that if they have nothing and are happy, then we can have nothing and be happy.
With just one business to run instead of 2, the Blanchs plan to spend more time together as a family, and they're hoping they'll be able to rediscover some of the magic that they experienced together on the island.
It's massively important that we keep the bonding experience going because we love them.
Since I was 10, I think I haven't had that opportunity to spend that close time with my family.
There was times there where I felt quite tearful, I looked at them splashing around and having fun and realising what an amazing family I have, actually. And it's just really nice because you see your family... What the hell, right? How really strange. You see your family really happy, and I just want to do more of that now.
Join me for my show tonight where my guest will be the fabulous Mr. Hugh Jackman, one of Britain's best-loved comedy actors, Martin Clunes, and the outrageous Lady Gaga. We'll be chatting and singing. That's Friday night with Jonathan Ross after the news at 10:35.